favorite gift? That is what I want you to think about. Something that really sticks out, something that's special. Doesn't have to be the biggest or biggest thing that you receive, but something that you really want to write a thank you for. That is what we're going to be writing. This one is going to be graded. So last week we did fun stuff. This week we're going to do the actual thank you note. So with a thank you note, we are not going to mail. But if we were to mail, I handed out what looks like a what? What do we put our letters in when we take them to the post office to mail them? Quinchine. In an envelope. So this is a stamp. So on this corner, does anyone know whose name and address goes there? Someone's name and address goes up here. Someone's name and address goes down here. Whose name and address goes up here, Tessa? Yes. This marker is perfect. So, that is my address, not really, but, and then whose address goes here on the envelope? Ella. Where is it going? Let's see. So I'm sending it to Mickey Mouse, Disney World, Florida, 12345 which is a zip code. Every area, Madison has several zip codes. I live in Mount Horeb. I have a zip code 53572. That tells the post office what area in the country this letter is going. So, stamp. And sometimes if you have a big letter, it might be thicker. You might have to add 2 stamps. Depends on the postage. So the stamp or stamps go up on the upper right hand. Your address goes on the upper left. And whomever it's being sent to goes in the middle. Now then you lick it closed and you send it. Do you have to put anything on the back?
No.
Like what?
A sticker.
Oh, if a sticker, yes. Sometimes there's pretty little stickers that you put on the little area that you stick so it stays closed. So yes. You don't have to write anything back there. Everything written goes in the front so the postman can say, oh, this is going to Mickey Mouse in Disney World, Florida. All right, so then he knows where to send it. Yes, Jonathan.
Like, if you're sending it to your parents, don't you write the same address as yours?
Well, if you're sending it to your same address, then you don't have to send it in the mail. You can just hand it to them. Yeah. I mean, if you want to put it in an envelope, that's fine. Like, I have given out thank yous to people. Like this morning, I gave out a thank you to somebody. I put it in an envelope, and I licked it closed, put her name on the top, in the front, and put it where she could find it. But I didn't put it in the mail. So it's not all notes have to go in the mail. But if they do, then you do have to add a stamp. And you do have to add your address and the person who's going to receive it. Okay? Yes, Grayson?
Can you write a letter to Santa?
Sure. Now, I don't know Santa's address. I suspect that if you take it to the post office, they would know where to send it. Because I have a feeling they have his address, zip code, all of that really handy because Santa is a very popular guy. So that is what I would suggest, that you would take it to the post office. You probably could even put it in your mailbox. Has anybody ever seen your parents put something in your own mailbox and put the little flag up?
Yeah.
Does anybody know why they put the little flag up? Emmy? So they know what? So who knows? Who is that flag telling that there is a letter in the mailbox? The postman. So if they put if there's a little flag up in your mailbox, that is telling the postman, oh, there is a flag, a red flag. That means that there is a letter in there that needs to be sent. So even if you put the letter in your mailbox, put the flag up, the post office in for Santa, the mailman would know what to do. M. Yes. Yes, and you're going to have to give it to me first because I'm going to grade them. And then I will give them back to you, and then you can give them to whomever you want. So let's review your thank you note. I don't have to erase these, I just have to take them down. How should you start out your thank you note? What is the first thing you need to write? I would suggest, if you don't know, that you get this out. It tells you. Now, since we are going to pretend we are sending these in the mail, you do not have to put your address on these letters, okay? So let's not worry about that. I want the date. And then I want your greeting, dear whoever. And then, this doesn't have any indents, but I want you to indent. So I want you to get used to indenting your writing. So, you will indent. How many sentences should this include? We discussed that last week. Christian? 7. And then a lot of us forgot about the closing. Love, Sam. Sincerely, Jonathan. Thank you, M. You need to have a closing. A lot of people just do love, comma, then your name. Just like this, love, comma, and then your name. So I know that this is a gift that you really like, so it's not going to be hard to write kind things, but is it important to write kind things when we're writing a thank you note? Yeah. Yes. Remember how we wrote some things to Aunt Gert? We included kind things. We included, how can we use this? What is something positive about this gift that made it super awesome? Olivia. Yes. You can write to whomever you want. However, I do want you to write a thank you on something you received at Christmas. Remember, before Christmas, we wrote, what do we want? So now I want you to write a thank you on something you did receive that was really, in your opinion, amazing. And then you're going to write why it's amazing. And you're going to thank whomever you gave it to, who gave it to you. You're going to write them a thank you card. So if you want to take the rest of this time to think about, and you can brainstorm. This is not your final draft. But just so you know, we have today, we don't have tomorrow because we have gym. And we have Wednesday, and then Friday is a short day.
Oh yeah, it's a half day.
So, we are not going to have a lot of time on Friday, so please do not leave this to Friday and think that you're going to get it done. So you have today and you have Wednesday to really get this done. I'm going to be grading on neatness. I'm going to be grading on, I still see a lot of, this is your red line on your lined paper. What is that red line on the lined paper signify? Just a pretty line? Some of you have blue lines, some of you have red lines. Whichever you have, they both have the same significance. They have the same meaning when you're writing a paper. So, where we indent the first line, la 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 la. Can't you read that? Where does the next line go? Or the next sentence on your paper. Where does it go? Ella. It starts at the red line. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. And then let's say I am going to do another paragraph. Where does the new sentence go for the new paragraph? To the red line? Where does it go? What do we do? Tessa, you indent. And then we go on our merry way. La, 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 la. So please, 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 whether it is red or blue, use this nice little stop sign to put your sentences. It's right there on your paper. I don't want sentences in the middle. Some sentences starting here. I think this is a good place to start writing. And maybe the next sentence I'm going to start writing, well, right here. Maybe I'll come here this sentence. No. Stop sign. Okay, that is very important. That is something I'm going to be looking for on this paper, because we have written enough papers now that this should be an automatic. Unless you're indenting, all of your sentences need to go to the red or blue line. Yes, Jeff?
Do you have to have more than one paragraph?
I want 7 sentences. So you do not, unless, there really is one paragraph. Unless you are going to, you have 2 major thoughts for this thank you. But I think 1 paragraph is sufficient. 7 has to be at least 7 sentences. Then your closing and your name. Questions? Jack or Luke?
So are we writing on this?
No, that is just an exercise of an envelope. You're going to get out a piece of paper and you're going to write on a white sheet of paper. This is not necessarily, is not your final draft, friends. This is your brainstorming. This is your ideas. Your final draft needs to be extremely neat. I don't want erasing on it. I don't want big gaps between sentences. That's another thing. No, no, no. Gaps are not needed in a paragraph. So this is my first line, and then I'm going to say something. I think I'm going to skip a couple lines and continue. No. We need to have consistency. So what about periods? What do we do after a period? Winsheen? No, not a new paragraph. What is after a period? What do we do with the next word? Owen? Capitalize. Another thing is make sure you put spaces between your words. Do not run all of your words together where it looks like one giant word. Oh yes, it's very difficult to read. I ask you to talk. Okay, is that hard to read?
Yes. Yeah. No, not really.
Is that the way we write?
No.
Now, I've been seeing some of this from some of my friends, and it is really hard to write. Again, I have to feel like I'm decoding a sentence or decoding a code. This is how we write. If you have to put your finger down to give you space, do so, or pencil. Is that easier to read?
Yeah.
Why? Why is it easier to read? Christian?
Because it's spaced out.
Yes. It's just easier for the eye to flow when you can clearly decipher which word is what and where the end of that word is. So now, friends, I am going to start grading more on your neatness. I'm going to grade you more on your grammar and your spelling. Your spelling doesn't have to be perfect, but I would like for you to put forth an effort to try your hardest. If you don't know what it is, sound it out phonically as well as possible. Yes, Jeremiah?
Can you take the phone in order?
Of course. Now, it only has to be 7 sentences. It's not like the big papers. It's a short paper. But because it's short, I'm going to be looking closely at these grammatical things, structure things, paragraphs, indent, run-on sentences, periods, capital letters after a period. First word in a sentence is always what? M. Yes. All right. So, now that I've laid down the law, you guys can start writing ideas. Again, this is not your final draft. This should consist of writing down ideas. What gift am I going to write a thank you for, and who am I going to write it to? All right? So that is what we are doing today in writing. Jack, it is time for you to say sayonara. To go down, get your coat, and you go down to the office. Cannot, unfortunately, take you down. You know how to get to the office. So why don't you take your time? Do you need to take anything else? Do you want a water bottle or anything to take with you? Why don't you have a little time? Why don't you put your papers away? I gave you extra time to do that type of thing. All right, so friends, let's get writing. We don't have to worry about what Jack is doing. All right.